Hello, I'm Clint Walker, and this is Real Estate Appraiser Secrets. And today we are going to talk about the difference between FHA and conventional appraisals. Now, the primary difference between these two appraisals is actually in the inspection. There could be a little bit of a difference in your appraiser's, feelings about their approach, their final opinion of value. They might feel a little bit more conservative on an FHA appraisal, almost emotionally, because on an FHA appraisal you have a review by the FHA on their work. So there is from their production standpoint, there's an extra set of eyes on it. There's an extra layer of scrutiny on it that they're thinking about. And there's also potentially less skin in the game from the buyer. Now, sometimes that's completely marginal because you can do conventional financing where they're practically financing the same amount as they would be with FHA. So that can vary. But I think really, like, if there is any more of a conservative mentality going into it, it is because of that FHA scrutiny that the appraiser might perceive they're under. I think we've all gotten a slap on the wrist at some point from the FHA, not liking some like really arbitrary bit of minutia that's gone into our reports. I know I got one 6 months in, and it was like, I can't even remember what I did wrong, but it was completely pointless. Okay, but there is an extra set of eyes reading that and scrutinizing our work. So whatever, do with that whatever. It's meaningless to you. But that aside, the big difference is, sorry, I'm 2.5 minutes into this and I haven't given you one useful sentence yet. That aside, the biggest difference is in the inspection. In an FHA appraisal, the appraiser during the inspection is going to be doing several additional things. We're going to be inspecting the attic, and we're going to be inspecting the crawl space if there is a crawl space. I guess there could be the caveat that there might not be an attic, but I think maybe only one time have I seen a house without an attic. So, but oftentimes your house is built on a slab, and so if there is a slab, we won't have a crawl space to inspect. So if there is a crawl space, your appraiser is going to need to open that up and do, at a minimum, a head and shoulders inspection. The crawl space needs to be of a sufficient height that the appraiser or a service person can crawl in there and make repairs if repairs need to be made. The appraiser won't be making repairs, but it needs to be of a height that could be done if applicable. There must not be any moisture in that crawl space. The appraiser has to be able to take a picture of a dry crawl space. What else? That's really the big one. If there is an attic, we're really looking for mostly that it's ventilated properly, that there's no like signs of really obvious repairs like cracked rafters, fire damage. I don't know, there could be, I guess, moisture damage would be a big one. Like if there's roof leaks, that's a big one we're looking for. Kind of the obvious stuff. Then for FHA inspections, we will also be testing the appliances, the dishwasher if there is one. We'll be testing the stove to make sure that it works. We will be opening up all of the cabinets to look underneath them. All the cabinets that have plumbing in them, to look underneath them to make sure they're not leaking. That's a big difference. What else is a big difference? At an FHA inspection, if the house was built prior to 1978, we will be calling for repairs of any peeling paint because of lead-based paint concerns. We will, what else? We'll be calling for repair on any, we can call for repair for structural issues on any loan type, whether it's FHA or conventional. The FHA might go a little bit further, where we have to call for repairs if exterior wood is uncovered or untreated in a way that makes it susceptible to moisture. The FHA has just recently revised this to make a caveat that if the wood is pressure treated lumber, we don't have to call for repairs. I don't know how it's taken until 2025 for them to issue that statement, but it did. That just happened this year. What else? Health, safety, and structural issues on any loan type can be required repairs. And then FHA is peeling paint on lead-based paint. Inspect the attic and crawl space. Check all the appliances. I'm drawing a blank on any other ones. I might be drawing a blank because people around me are driving like maniacs right now, and it's distracting me. So if you're an appraiser watching this and you're like, Clint, you're missing a really obvious one, please forgive me. But that's about it. Health, safety, and structural. Those issues, I talk about them in my classes because they sound subjective, and they are a little bit subjective. On any given inspection, you can expect your appraiser to, especially on the subject of handrails, this is often a big one. You can expect your appraiser to probably go by what they know of local codes. And local codes requirements for exterior handrails on porches and patios is if they exceed 30 inches of height from the ground around it, then codes typically requires handrails to be put on. And I know many appraisers will check for something about that because codes requirements are generally there to address safety issues, okay? And we are concerned about safety issues as appraisers. So you can, if you got a railing that is higher than 30 inches or a porch ledge that's higher than 30 inches, they could measure that and require a railing to be put on it. As agents, you might be aware that for existing properties, our clients as agents are not required to bring them up to codes. But if your appraiser is going by codes to cure safety issues, then they could make it a requirement to get the loan, and they're just using the codes as a reference. So it's not really requiring that it be brought up to codes, it's just requiring that it be brought up to cure the safety problem or the safety hazard. So your appraiser, be aware that your appraiser is not bound by any of that stuff. Because everything your appraiser requires is just for the lender to make the loan, okay? We're just there to protect their interests, so all of these other standards and rules, they don't really apply to us. Sorry. That's usually causes some disgruntled looks in my classes when I bring that up. But it's the reality. We're working for the lender, and these are just lender requirements. What else? I thought of another one. I thought of another good one, but I'm drawing a blank on it now. So it'll come to me as I wrap this up. Anyway, one of the best pieces of advice I give in my class to help maybe spot some of these issues beforehand is that, in all my videos, I recommend that you get an appraiser to do a professional measurement. Well, if you have an appraiser come into your property to do a professional measurement, and you've sort of developed a good relationship with them because you use them to measure all of your properties, all of your listings, just ask them, hey, if you see something that you think might be an issue on an FHA, because we think we'll probably get an FHA buyer, if you see something you think we should address before we put this property on the market, would you just let me know? I do that for the agents that call me all the time. And my other appraisers who work for me will do the same if you ask for it, or they might just do the same if they see it and want you to know about it. But they also don't want to step on your toes. So if you're concerned, if you think you don't know all of these things on your own just from walking around, ask your appraiser to just let you know if they see something that you should be aware of. To me, that's a nice sort of benefit to having an appraiser do that measurement. So if we can do that for you, if we can do a professional measurement, or if we can do a pre-listing appraisal, which would also talk about those issues if we saw them, you can find us at truepointappraisals.com. If you have questions about something in regard to inspections that I might have gotten distracted and forgotten to address in this video, feel free to call me or shoot me a text or an email and ask. Be happy to go over anything with you that I might have missed. But as always, I really appreciate you watching. Would love it if you liked the video and subscribed. And I will catch you next week.